Hello, I am Kunarchina Polonia from BPED 2D. I am going to answer the four following questions. Cars. These are the four setting principles practitioner that we need to remember. C means for challenging, A means for attainable, R means for realistic, and S means for specific. We all know that roller skating is very challenging for beginners, and that challenging comes from the acronym C in cars. Second, attainable. In every lesson, you should have a progress. That's attainable comes from the acronyms A in cars. Third, realistic. We should use a realistic materials. That's from letter R from cars. And lastly, specific. The practitioner should be focused on what they're teaching, not in other things to make it complicated. And S, that's from the acronym R in cars. Target skills are the actual tasks individuals need to acquire in order to achieve their goals. Target behavior are observable behaviors that are associated with successful performance of skills. Target context is the environmental context in which learners want to be able to produce their target skills. The relationship of these three are this is important by achieving goal setting to make it easier to achieve and identify each goals. So, the following suggested activities using prosthetic hand while eating a baked potato is a target skill. Fly fishing and shooting a basketball is our target behavior because it changes person behavior. And lastly, billiards and piloting an airplane is the target context because it required a specific place to perform the skills. There are three categories elements that might be shared by two motor skills. First is movement element that deals with the movement patterns of various actions. Next is perceptual elements that are task-related stimuli that individual must be able to interpret in order to assure successful performance. And last, conceptual or strategy elements such as strategy rules, guidelines, or concepts. Number 4, the example that I choose is playing the flute. The outcome measure of playing the flute, it indicates about a person's movement. For example, the measure of time on how long he gonna practice to learn how to play a flute. And the valid process measure of playing a flute, there's a lot of process to know how to learn how to play flute, like the sound waves that there is analog signal that measure by a device to compose a notes.